Hey everyone, and welcome back for another deep dive with us.
Glad to be here.
This time, we're going to be tackling a topic that I think is pretty universally relevant.
Yeah.
We're going to be talking about forgiveness.
Oh, very important.
And specifically, we're going to be looking at this book, 4 Steps to Forgiveness by William Fergus Martin.
Okay.
And we're going to kind of go through it and
You
see
got it.
what kind of practical advice we can glean from it.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times people think about forgiveness as just sort of this like
Right.
touchy-feely,
Yeah.
oh, everything's fine, I forgive you. But there's actually a lot more to it than that.
There is.
And this book in particular is really interesting because it's available for free in over 25 languages,
Wow.
thanks to the Global Forgiveness Initiative.
That's amazing.
So clearly this is something that
Yeah.
people all over the world are grappling with.
For sure.
So let's dive in.
Let's do it.
Why bother forgiving?
Yeah, that's the big question, right?
Yeah. Like, is it just about being nice?
Right.
Or are there some actually tangible benefits to forgiving someone?
Yeah.
Even if they've, like, totally wronged us.
Right. Well, and that's what's so interesting about this book is that it really focuses on the practicality of it.
Okay.
So, we talk about forgiveness and people go, oh, yeah, that's good for, your soul
Yeah.
or, it's the right thing to do or whatever. But this book actually talks about how it can affect your career, your relationships, your finances.
Wait a minute.
All of it.
Hold on. So forgiveness can help me, like, make more money?
It can.
Okay, now I'm interested.
Right. I mean, think about it.
Yeah.
When you're holding on to unforgiveness, you're holding on to a lot of negativity that's affecting how you view the world. It's affecting how you interact with people.
Yeah.
And it's affecting, just the energy that you're putting out there.
Right. It's like this ball of negative energy that you're just carrying around.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's like weight on your shoulders.
Yeah. And so the idea is that
Right.
forgiveness helps you kind of untangle that, and then you can
Totally.
move more freely in the world.
You're lighter, you're more open,
Yeah.
you're more approachable because think about it, if you're a boss
Yeah.
and you've got 2 candidates
Right.
and they're both, equally qualified,
Mm-hmm.
who are you going to want to work with? The one who seems all bitter and resentful
Right.
or the one who's like, full of life?
Yeah. Okay. I see your point.
Yeah.
So it's like that positive energy that comes from forgiveness
Yeah,
can actually make you more attractive to other people.
absolutely.
Okay. So how do we do it?
Well, that's where these 4 steps come in.
Okay.
And what's interesting about these 4 steps is they're not really linear.
Oh.
You're not just going step 1, step 2. You're going back and forth.
Okay.
You're refining, you're re-looking at things, you're revisiting your feelings over time.
So it's almost like you're trying on different outfits, like seeing what fits.
Totally. You're like, okay, does this work for me? Does this feel right?
Right. And you might have to adjust it, go back and forth a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So I think one of the biggest questions that comes up with forgiveness
Yeah.
is,
Yeah,
do you need an apology?
right.
Like, can you really forgive someone if they've never said, I'm sorry?
Right. And there's this fear too, if I forgive them, they're going to hurt me again.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Martin addresses this head on in the book,
Okay.
especially in the sections on tough forgiveness and false forgiveness.
Okay.
And, he makes it very clear that forgiveness is about you.
Okay.
It's not about them.
So it's not about them getting off the hook.
No, it's not about them getting off the hook. It's about
Yeah.
it's about you releasing yourself from the pain, from
Yeah.
the negativity.
So it's about taking back your power.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Yep.
So we've talked about why it's important. We've talked about these 4 steps.
Right.
But there's also the whole thing about guilt and shame
Yes.
and how that kind of plays into all of this.
Absolutely. Because, we've all been there
Right.
where we feel guilty about something or ashamed of something.
Yeah.
And those emotions are so powerful
Uh-huh.
and they can really keep us stuck.
Right. So what's the difference between like guilt and shame?
So guilt is when you feel bad about a specific action.
Okay.
Shame is when you feel bad about yourself as a person.
So like I feel guilty that I, forgot my friend's birthday
Right.
versus I feel ashamed that I'm a bad friend.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And what happens is shame can create this like cycle, what he calls a shame loop, where we feel shame and then we act in ways that reinforce that shame.
Okay.
And then we feel more shame and it just keeps going.
So how do we break free from that?
That's where forgiveness comes in.
Okay.
Both forgiving yourself and forgiving others can help you untangle from that web of shame.
So forgiveness can actually help us
Yeah,
make better choices moving forward.
absolutely.
Okay, that's really interesting.
Yeah.
And that kind of leads us to the idea of self-forgiveness,
Yes.
which I think a lot of people have trouble with
Yeah.
because they think it's selfish.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm just letting myself off the hook.
Yeah, yeah.
But this book actually argues that self-forgiveness is incredibly generous.
It is. How so?
Well, because think about it. When you forgive yourself,
Mm-hmm.
you're not saying what you did was okay.
Right.
You're recognizing that holding on to that guilt and that shame
Yeah.
is not serving you. It's keeping you stuck.
So it's like you're acknowledging the mistake, but you're not letting it define you.
Exactly.
Okay.
And when you can do that for yourself,
Yeah.
you become much more capable of extending that same grace and compassion to other people.
So by being kind to ourselves.
We're actually better able to be kind to others.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's like it frees up that space within you
Yeah.
to be more understanding and more compassionate.
Okay, so this all makes sense in a general way.
Yeah.
But I'm curious about how forgiveness plays out in like specific situations.
Sure.
You know, like what about things like anxiety,
Yeah.
overcoming addictions,
Mm-hmm.
facing loneliness?
Right.
Like how does forgiveness actually work in those?
Yeah. So Martin gives some really good examples
Okay.
of how it plays out in those specific areas.
Okay.
So for anxiety and depression, he talks about how forgiveness can help interrupt those negative thought patterns that keep us feeling stuck.
So it's not like you're ignoring the problem,
Right.
but you're changing your relationship to it internally.
Exactly. It's like creating a more peaceful,
Okay.
positive internal environment.
Okay, what about addictions?
So with addictions, he talks about how forgiveness can help address that underlying pain that's often driving the addictive behavior.
So it's like healing those wounds so you can move forward.
Exactly, yeah. It's like that foundation of self-compassion
Okay.
allows you to make healthier choices.
Okay. And what about loneliness?
So with loneliness, Martin talks about becoming a friend to yourself first
Okay.
and then extending that friendship to others.
So it's about building
Yeah.
real, genuine connections.
Exactly, and combating that sense of isolation.
Okay, this all sounds amazing,
Yeah,
but, you know, I'm sure there are some people out there who are like,
sure.
wait a minute, this all sounds a little too good to be true.
Right.
What about those who are skeptical about forgiveness?
Yeah, and Martin addresses that.
Okay.
He really emphasizes that forgiveness
Mm-hmm.
is not about condoning bad actions or ignoring justice.
Yeah.
You know, it's not about them, it's about you.
So it's not about letting someone off the hook.
No, it's
That's
about...
what they did.
Right, it's about you choosing to release yourself from the burden of that anger and resentment.
So it's more about like taking back your own power
Exactly.
and choosing peace over bitterness.
Absolutely.
Okay, so, you know, we mentioned that 4 Steps to Forgiveness is available for free in all these different languages,
I know, it's amazing.
which is incredible.
Absolutely.
And it really speaks to how this is a universal concept.
Yeah, this is something that people all over the world
Yeah.
are struggling with, are seeking answers to. And it just shows that, you know,
Yeah.
this is a fundamental human need.
One thing that's really sticking with me
Yeah.
is this idea that forgiveness is like a path to happiness and success,
It is.
which, you know, when you think about it, it kind of makes sense.
That does.
Like, who's going to thrive more?
Yeah.
Someone who's weighed down by all that negativity or someone who's like
Right.
let go of it?
Totally. Yeah, he really emphasizes in the book that
Yeah.
holding on to those negative emotions, the anger, the resentment, the guilt, the shame, it creates this barrier to happiness. Okay.
And when we can forgive,
Yeah.
we dismantle that barrier.
So it's not just about like the absence of those negative feelings.
Right.
It's about like actively
Yeah.
cultivating positive ones.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so how does that apply to like success then?
So think about it.
Yeah.
When you are carrying around all that baggage, it's clouding your judgment, it's affecting your interactions,
Yeah.
and it's ultimately limiting your potential.
So it's like removing those obstacles.
Yeah.
So that you can more clearly see your goals.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, and this kind of ties back to that idea of energy,
Right.
where it's like forgiveness frees up that energy that was like kind of
Yes.
stuck.
Trapped in that negativity.
Yeah.
And then you can use that energy to create the life you want.
Okay, so we've got happiness, we've got success.
Yeah.
But what about those times when
Right.
forgiveness feels really tough?
Absolutely.
Like when it feels almost impossible. Like
Yeah.
what about situations where the hurt is just so deep?
Yeah, and Martin doesn't shy away from that.
Okay.
You know, he has whole sections in the book
Okay.
dedicated to what he calls tough forgiveness.
Tough forgiveness.
You know, those situations where the hurt runs deep,
Yeah.
the betrayal is real, the loss is profound.
Like in cases of infidelity or abuse or
Absolutely, yeah.
like real trauma.
Yeah. Those wounds can take a long time to heal.
Yeah.
But even in those really dark places,
Mhm.
forgiveness offers a path forward.
Okay.
And remember,
Yeah.
forgiveness doesn't mean condoning the behavior
Right.
or reconciling with the person.
Okay.
It's about releasing yourself.
So it's not about saying what they did was okay.
Right.
But it's about
It's about you choosing to be free
Yeah.
from that pain.
okay, so you're not giving them a free pass.
Right.
You're choosing to
You're choosing to heal
Okay.
for yourself.
And that might even involve like creating some distance.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, so you can forgive someone.
Without putting yourself back in a situation where you might get hurt again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he talks about setting healthy boundaries,
Okay.
protecting yourself.
So tough forgiveness is about
Yeah,
taking care of yourself
absolutely.
and while still choosing to release that negativity,
Exactly.
you know? And something that's becoming really clear to me through all of this is that
Yeah,
self-forgiveness is just as important as forgiving others.
it is. It is. And, you know,
Because we can be so hard on ourselves.
oh, absolutely.
Yeah. And we carry around the weight of our past mistakes.
Yeah, and that self-judgment is so damaging.
Yeah.
You know, it keeps us stuck in those shame loops,
Yeah.
prevents us from reaching our full potential.
And Martin gives a whole framework
It does.
for self-forgiveness in this book.
Yeah, he walks you through the steps of,
Okay.
you know, recognizing the hurt, acknowledging your feelings,
Mhm.
and then ultimately choosing to release that self-blame.
So it's like offering ourselves the same
Yeah.
compassion and understanding that we would offer a friend.
Exactly. It's like being a good friend to yourself.
And then what's really cool is
Right.
that he says that when we learn to forgive ourselves,
Mhm.
we actually become more capable of forgiving others.
Absolutely.
It's like this beautiful cycle.
Yeah.
Like that saying, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Right. Exactly.
So you have to fill your own cup first.
You got to take care of yourself
Yeah.
so you can take care of others.
Okay, so we've talked about the benefits, we've talked about the steps,
Mm-hmm.
but there's this whole other layer to this, right?
Yeah.
Which is this idea of
Yeah.
positive thinking and the law of attraction.
Yes. And how forgiveness plays into that.
Okay, because I think a lot of people are
Yeah.
maybe a little skeptical of that.
Sure.
So how does this all work?
So what Martin explains is that forgiveness helps us shift
Okay,
from a negativity bias to a more positive outlook.
so by letting go of those past hurts,
Yeah.
it creates space for more positive thoughts. And then those positive thoughts can then
Yes.
attract positive experiences.
Absolutely.
Okay, but for some people that might sound a little,
Yeah.
like how do we actually make that practical?
So he explains that the key to attracting what we want
Mhm.
is to align our internal state
Okay,
with that desired outcome.
so it's not just about like chanting affirmations.
No, it's about that genuine internal shift.
Okay,
And forgiveness helps us clear out that negativity
Okay.
that's blocking those positive vibrations.
so forgiveness is kind of like the foundation
It is.
for the law of attraction to work.
Absolutely.
Okay, but what about situations where
Mm-hmm.
someone is intentionally trying to manipulate or control us?
Yeah, that's a tough one.
Like in cases of gaslighting or
Absolutely.
emotional abuse.
And again, you know, Martin addresses these challenging situations.
Okay.
And he's very clear that forgiveness does not require
Okay.
us to stay in harmful situations.
You're not giving them a free pass to just keep
No, absolutely not.
hurting you.
No, and sometimes forgiveness might involve
Yeah.
creating distance, setting firm boundaries.
So you can forgive someone
Yeah,
without condoning their actions.
absolutely.
Okay, so forgiveness and reconciliation are two separate things.
They are.
You can choose to forgive for your own well-being,
Right.
but still take steps to protect yourself.
Exactly.
I like that. It's like
Yeah.
you're taking back your power.
Absolutely.
You know, I feel like through all of this,
Yeah.
we're really starting to see how forgiveness is about
Mm-hmm.
empowerment.
It is.
And it's about choosing to create a better future for yourself.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered the benefits of forgiveness,
Yeah.
the steps involved,
Yeah.
how it applies to challenging situations.
Mm-hmm.
But there's one more thing that I think is really important to talk about.
Sure.
And that is this idea that
Uh-huh.
Martin presents,
Yeah.
that life is like a gym
Yes.
for our character.
Love this analogy.
Okay, I'm picturing myself lifting weights of resilience
I know, right?
and running on the treadmill of compassion.
It's brilliant.
So what does he mean by that?
So he's saying that,
Right.
all those challenges and difficult experiences that we go through,
Mm-hmm.
even the ones that are caused by other people,
Yeah.
they're actually opportunities for us to grow.
So instead of seeing those tough times as like
Right.
setbacks or failures,
Yeah.
it's more about like,
It's like those weights at the gym.
all right.
They're pushing us to
Yep.
build strength.
So it's like instead of asking, why me?
Yeah.
We can
What
ask,
am I learning?
yeah, what am I learning from that?
Exactly. How is this shaping me?
Oh my gosh, that's so powerful.
I know, right? And forgiveness is crucial in this
Okay.
because it allows us to extract the lessons from those experiences
Yeah.
without getting bogged down in the negativity.
So it's about transforming that pain into growth.
Exactly.
This is incredible.
I know, right?
This is truly life-changing stuff.
It is.
And I love that
Yeah.
the book ends on such a hopeful and empowering note
It does.
because he says that everyone who learns to forgive
Mm-hmm.
becomes a teacher of forgiveness.
Yes.
So by embracing forgiveness in our own lives,
Yeah,
we can inspire others to do the same.
absolutely.
It creates this ripple effect of positivity.
I love that.
This has been amazing, I feel like.
Yeah.
I've learned so much,
Yeah.
and I feel like I
Yeah.
have this whole new understanding of what forgiveness really is.
And it's not just about letting go of the past. It's
No,
about
it's-
creating a more positive,
Yeah,
loving, empowered present.
I love that.
Yeah.
It really is about like, stepping into that power.
Absolutely.
And I love that he actually gives us this really practical question to ask ourselves
Oh, yeah.
at the end of the book. He says, if life is a gym for our character, what muscles is your current situation helping you develop?
Oh, I love that.
Isn't that great?
It is.
So it's like he's really encouraging us to look at those challenges,
Yeah.
not as like,
Right. But as opportunities to
yeah.
get stronger.
So it's almost like
Yeah.
flipping the script
Absolutely.
instead of asking like, why me?
Yeah.
Why is this happening?
Right.
We can
How
ask.
am I learning?
Yeah.
How is this shaping me?
Like, what muscles am I building right now?
Exactly.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, right.
And it really speaks to
Yeah.
how, forgiveness is an active process.
It is.
It's not passive.
Yeah.
It's not just about like sitting back and
Right.
letting things happen to you.
Yeah.
It's about taking control.
It's about making a conscious choice
Yeah.
to grow and to learn.
Oh my gosh, my mind is blown.
I know, right?
This is so good.
It's powerful stuff.
And it's really encouraging to know that
Yeah.
no matter what we've been through,
Yeah.
no matter how much we've been hurt,
Yeah.
forgiveness is always an option.
Yes.
And it's an option that can lead to
Yeah.
real healing and growth.
Absolutely.
This has been such a great deep dive.
It has.
I feel like we've learned so much
Me too.
about forgiveness.
Yeah, it's really helped me to kind of reframe
Yeah.
how I think about it.
And, it's not just about
Right.
letting go of the past.
It's about creating a more Yeah. positive and empowered present.
I love that.
Me too.
And to all of you listening, I highly recommend
Yeah.
checking out this book, 4 Steps to Forgiveness.
It's free.
It's free. It's available online.
Yeah, you can get it in so many different languages.
Yeah.
It's an incredible resource.
So yeah, thanks for joining us
Thanks, everyone.
on this deep dive into forgiveness.
We'll see you next time.
Bye.